Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you there. I was in the middle of working on something. There's a saying. There's actually a lot of sayings. There's a saying that if you keep your nose clean, you'll live a quiet life. Because let's just be for real. People are nosy and incredibly messy. People have issues with love, finances, and stability. Why can't these people just see what they're doing is wrong, you know? First of all, slow down, buddy. You're not the authority on how things should be done. Yeah, you may have friends with people that have codependency issues. They've been in multiple relationships with different people for the past 6 years. Or yeah, you might know someone that doesn't know how to open up to somebody. Or you may even be friends with somebody that just, they can't get it right with friends and just any social situations at all. Or you might have people that do not know what healthy love really looks like. But let me ask you this question here. Do you yourself have it figured out too? What was that? You don't? Then what are you yapping for? And come on, just don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that having knowledge about what's right and wrong is a bad thing. Knowledge is incredibly good. Knowledge is incredibly useful. But, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. You can know the stuff, but if you haven't lived through it yourself, how are you really going to have that authority or really have that knowledge if you haven't actually been through it yourself? Do you see where I'm getting at? Tell me this. Have you been in a relationship? Are you a social butterfly? Do you have zero debt? Do you have a nice 401k? Do you even have a house in this economy? No? You don't? Well, do you know what love is? Because I want you to show me. Sorry, not sorry. The way that I like to talk about this and the way that I like to explain this is this. There's a difference between knowing and knowing. Wait, like I said before, knowing the stuff up here is very valuable. This is your head knowledge. Head knowledge can get you a very long way. It can keep you out of certain scenarios. It can keep you from heartbreak. It can even lead you towards the right places where you're supposed to be going. And where do you get this head knowledge from? You might get it from people like me You might get it from people like me that like to yap about their personal lives and experiences on the internet. You might hear it from friends, family, podcasts. You might hear it from those ways right there. And knowing stuff could help you avoid issues entirely. And if you are able to avoid very serious stuff, I would honestly take advantage of that because that's good. You should be careful and you should be wary of the world around you because this is a very broken, a very fallen world and things just aren't perfect. However, though, I would say that screwing up and making mistakes is a part of the human experience. And without screwing up and making these mistakes, you yourself are never going to learn how to actually live and how to actually operate as a human being in this world. If you read about riding a bike, you're going to know the mechanics pretty well. You're going to know how the brakes works, how to put your feet on the pedals and pedal and do that. But if you actually ride a bike yourself, meaning you get on a bike, training wheels or not, fall down a few times, you're going to learn through falling over again and again and again how to ride that bike. You might not have read about it or heard from someone else how to ride a bike, but at the end of the day, you know how to ride a bike. You know what it's like to fall down. You know how to keep your balance. You know that you should have both feet on the pedals at all times. You know how the brake works. You know everything because you yourself did it. Experience will always trump knowledge. But at the same time, both go hand in hand. And just because you know about someone's experiences with heartaches, heartbreaks, that doesn't mean that you're ready to go through that stuff yourself, muchacho or muchacha. Growing up, I've heard from multiple people how marriage should be. As believers, as Christians, we all know about the proverbial Proverbs 31 woman. I'm not going to take time to read all that in this video. I highly encourage you to crack open a Bible twin and just to read Proverbs 31 if you're ever confused on what the biblical standard for a godly woman is, that is a great place to start. And I listen to a bunch of other stuff. I listen to different speakers, different pastors, different friends that are in great dating relationships, that are married, and that are even parents now. What a godly marriage, what a godly relationship by extension should look like. And at the end of the day, I listened to them. I listened to what they had to say because their experience was very good, because they were in a place that I wanted to be. Married to a beautiful, loving wife, and eventually having children with that beautiful, lovely wife, starting a beautiful and lovely family. But you see here, Pastor, let me tell you about this girl that I like. There's this beautiful, beautiful person that has family issues, attachment issues, has a pretty face, and she's calling out my name, you know? When I was younger, specifically when I was in high school and in college, I would go after any person that said they were Christian, that was pretty, and that gave me any morsel of attention. Keep in mind, I knew about all this stuff of what a godly woman should be and what a godly relationship should look like. I still went for people that were completely against and opposite of that anyway. And through all those experiences, I learned the hard way that you should not pursue after those types of people, especially if you're looking for a marriage that honors God and a relationship that also honors God. I'm not just talking about relationships and romance as well, because growing up too, there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't know how to do because I stayed out of it. You see, this is going to sound very weird, but I did not know how to truly talk and communicate to people until I was a sophomore, junior in high school. Yeah, I know, that's because middle school and high school, those are like the peak and primary years for deeper communication. That's when friendships start to develop deeper. But yeah, I just didn't know how to talk to people. Because I didn't know how to really talk to people, my friendships were at a very shallow level. I never faced conflict. If any issues came up, end of friendship. No questions asked. Because back then, I thought a friendship meant there were no issues, everything was kumbaya, no arguing whatsoever. Or even further than that, I couldn't really give people advice and I couldn't speak into people's lives either. Bro did not know how to communicate until sophomore year of high school. If someone was pouring their heart out to me about how so-and-so broke their heart or how so-and-so stole their something, I would be an echo chamber. I would more often affirm or just like be like, yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way. Anyway, want to hear about Lego Indiana Jones? But sophomore year of high school, when I actually learned how to communicate to people, things changed. You see, through this, I began to learn conflict resolution, and I could actually speak into people's lives, give them advice, encourage them, and even call them out when they need to be called out, because we're stupid human beings. Not all of our ideas are good ideas, and we need to be called out. And obviously, my life is different than a lot of other people's lives, and because my life is different, I went through certain things for a reason, and I learned certain things for a reason. But don't take my word for it. The title of the video is, I don't want you just to take my advice though, because that would be very hypocritical to what the whole purpose of this video is. There is one piece of advice that I want you to hold though. Don't be afraid to screw up. In life, as a human, day to day, you're going to always make mistakes. And you're going to be in situations where you might not know what to even do. And let me just be real. It might suck to really go through those things in the moment. However, if you go at it the right way, with the right outlook, with the right people, with the right mindset, you're going to get through it, buddy. And when you get through it, you're going to grow from that, and you're going to be a much stronger, wiser, better person at the end of it. And don't get twisted. Having no problems in your life is a good thing. Just don't use it as a clutch to not try and do new things. Newsflash. Everything in life that is worth it requires some level of risk reward. If you never put yourself out there, you're always going to fail no matter what you try and no matter what you do. Like romance, for example. You're never going to get over your fear of rejection or talking to people if you yourself never ask people out and go on dates. You're not going to bench 225 if you're constantly slacking at the gym. If you're never doing bench press, you're never going to bench 225 unless you're actually week by week putting some plates on the bar and actually pushing it out. And hopefully one day I'll be able to bench 225 because I'm nowhere close to that right now, but I'm better than I was. You are never going to get into your dream school if you never apply. And this might hit for some people here especially. You're not going to know how to fight depression unless you go through a couple of seasons of that yourself. If you don't live, you won't know how to live. Okay, bro. I'm smelling what you're stepping in. Okay. Time to take my car and take it on the highway. Whoa. Slow down. I'm not saying to just lose all of your common sense. God gave us brains, minds, thinking for a reason. Use your brain. There's some things that you should just not do, like drinking and driving. That's a very obvious thing that you should not do. That is a lesson that can only be learned once. If there are things in your life that can only be learned one time, maybe it's best that you avoid that entirely. But then again though, live life. Don't just take my word for it. Take the words of other people. Well, hey man, I just want to thank you again for just taking your time just to come down, just to hang out and just answer like some questions, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Yeah, bro. My video is about being unproblematic and how that doesn't always free you from your problems. Because you can like know stuff, but not know stuff, you know? Like, you might know through other people's experiences how things might go, but you don't know yourself because you've never been through those types of experiences. And so, man, I just want to ask you a few questions about things that you've been through in your life and what you learned from them to kind of show the audience and viewers watching this how you can learn a lot from experience. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first question that I want to ask you is, what was something difficult you went through in your life that shaped who you are today?
Ooh. Goodness, where do I begin? So there was this girl.
That's how all great stories start.
Right, and we will not be giving any names. I'm going to try and keep it as anonymous as possible.
Of course.
There was this girl that we've been dating for quite some time. Felt the Lord telling me to end it after a very long time of dating. I mean, me and this girl have been living like we were married when we were not. Yeah, it took quite a toll on me. Just going through that and navigating where to go next. Honestly, in the beginning, I was fine, but you know, as time passed, it wasn't fine. You know, looking back on that experience and what all that person taught me and what all I learned from being in a relationship like that has really kind of shaped into how I treat other people, any sorts of relationship, whether it be platonic or not. But yeah, that's something that's still shaping me to this day, and I'm more grateful for it than anything. But yeah, it's taught me how to treat people and how to love people and what's necessary to sacrifice for other people.
I gotcha, man. Well, first of all, that sounds like it was very difficult going through that, and it sounds like you're still walking through that to this day. But it sounds like you're going at it at a pretty good way. So my second question actually kind of leads into what you're talking about. What was the hardest part of going through that season of life?
Hardest part? Probably watching that person move on. Just kind of to know that, you know, it sounds selfish to say, but I am no longer that source of happiness, if that makes sense. It's a different person. Yeah, that was probably the most difficult part, was definitely kind of sitting back and watching it all unfold, and just having to kind of sit back and not be able to do anything, which is okay. That's what it's supposed to be like. But the part of me, there's still part of me that like holds on.
Going through all that, because it sounds like you went through a lot with separating yourself from the person, with like breaking up with them, seeing them move on. What did you learn from going through those hardships?
I learned a lot about myself, more than anything, about how I handle these situations of just lack of control. My whole life I've been a control freak, if you will. You know, not being able to control what happens in my life in regards to any situation is a bit difficult. So, you know, letting go of that and allowing God to do His work and do His thing is it's been a difficult process, but it's that's what it's teaching me to do. Of course, there's been ups and downs, and there's been better moments and worse moments, but all in all, it's really just learning how to trust God in every aspect of your life.
I got you. I can relate to that a little bit myself too, because I want to control every single part of my life as well. And in moments like that, I've realized that the best moments, they come from when we actually do release our grip and we let God do, you know, what He does.
Right.
We think that we have all the answers. We think that we have the best plans and ideas for stuff, but ultimately it's like we're finite beings and we don't even know what tomorrow's going to look like. Did this draw you closer or further away from God?
No doubt closer. As I said earlier, really just trust in Him. And, you know, I had been holding on to so many things I didn't realize and keeping them captive to myself and not allowing God to be a part of them. Opening up that part to your life, that part of your life to the Lord is, yeah, it's a freeing thing. It's a process. It doesn't happen instantaneously. That's what I got for that one.
I got you, man. Well, I can definitely tell that from all this right there that you have grown closer to God, and that's a really great thing. So I've got one more official question, and this is going to be kind of a hard question here, so prepare yourself for it.
Okay.
If you could go back, would you allow yourself to go through this, or would you want to avoid it entirely?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's still a question I haven't really answered, but a lot of me wants to say no, I wouldn't let myself go through that. That's the selfish part of me that would rather have not gone through this. You know, the more responsible side of me says, yes, definitely I would have kept it the same way. Because if you look back logically as to where I was and what I was doing, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have as much progress, which, you know, everything has value, right? Every part of your life, whether it be progress in buying a house and buying a truck, living on your own and whatnot, but weighing those values, whether it be, is that worth it to go through the pain? Worth it to, would it have been more worth it to stay in something you weren't sure of and drag that process on longer? The answer to that question is I don't know.
You don't know, and hey, that's very fair. That's very fair. It sounds like you're still processing this, still going through some stuff, so that's a very fair, you know, response to that. From what I can tell, though, from what you've said, it sounds like you've made, you know, the right decision. But then again, though, it's conflicted. That's all that I have for my official interview questions. There's one more question that I want to ask you that's just off the record,
Okay.
just off the docket. Why are people that drive Ram trucks
That is a good question, and well, it depends on how you define the word sir. I have a personal confession. I did indeed drive a Ram truck the other day. It was my brother's.
Oh no.
And I have to say, the interior was quite nice, but that is the only compliment I can give to them.
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, hey, thank you very much for your time again today. I do appreciate you just taking your time just to talk about this, because I know this is very hard to talk about hard stuff in life. I know it's very, very hard, but I do appreciate you for sitting down with me, bro.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Of course, man. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you also enjoyed the interview from my friend as well. This was a very different video than normal, and I am grateful that I could do a video like this. Be looking forward, because more videos like this will be coming forward in the future. This is just the first of many. Like I said, guys, the best is yet to come. Hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'll see you next time. God bless. Is it still going? And no, I did not go to Mercer.